So I'm going to have a look at the IT services market and examine the role of the MSP in this time of unprecedented change. I'm going to take as my focus a timeline for the present day. Let's put the maturity of the cloud market, 2019, maybe 2020. So that's where we are today, but to start off this review, I'm going to look at 10 years previously. Now, 10 years ago, the cloud market existed, although it was far less mature, and many established organisations looked at the cloud and recognised its potential, but decided, actually, we're not going to move on that for various reasons: fear, uncertainty and doubt, but particular concerns over security and data sovereignty. However, at this time, smaller organisations who couldn't afford large-scale enterprise IT saw the potential for cloud in delivering disruptive innovation, and they started to move on the cloud despite some fears. So uptake was gradual. Coming up to the present day and looking at a series of market forecasts that exist at the moment across a number of commentators, we can see the market crystallising and reaching high levels of maturity and in fact tipping. The forecasts show a variety of tipping points, but I'm going to focus on just two. The first one of which is that in 2 to 3 years it's predicted that outsourced IT will overtake in terms of size the amount of insourced IT, reversing a trend that's existed for many, many years. And this reflects the fact that organisations are more willing to devolve responsibility for the delivery of IT through to third parties, MSPs, and also cloud providers. The next tipping point, which very much follows that and drives it, is the fact that the amount of cloud services being consumed is going to overtake the amount of data center based services. Again, showing the maturity of the market, and indeed, in terms of growth terms, showing a big peak in the growth of cloud. Now, we're going to look at the role of the MSP and the value it can provide to organisations, but to do that, we now have to look ahead 10 years. And in 10 years' time, I think we can all see that we're moving towards a state where IT starts to become a utility. And this was predicted a number of years ago by a number of commentators, including Nicholas Carr. And there's 3 tests for IT as a utility, and the first test is ubiquity. So pretty much anywhere in the world where I can get a signal, I can tap into the cloud. And even in the places, remote places where I can't get a signal, there are offline cloud options being offered now by Azure, but also AWS. The second test of a utility is that it's virtually limitless. And indeed, cloud meets this test criteria. If you've got enough money, you can get overwhelming amounts of capacity, compute, storage and memory for your requirements. And then the third test, and maybe the one where currently we're not quite there yet, is on standardization. And just like the power supply coming to your offices and your rooms through a standardized 240 volt supply, the cloud needs to exhibit similar standardization to count as a utility. Currently, that's possibly the weakest test in terms of its standardization, but specialists can make the various cloud wholesale platforms present as if it were one common platform. So we can see that the market is moving towards an IT service utility. So what is the role of the MSP in this situation and the value it can add to you as an organisation? Well, the first value add I want to reflect on, if we take the long view, is to help organisations navigate this unprecedented technology change in the market, maturation of cloud and the rise of the cloud wholesalers and putting those to good use, to act as a guide through this transition. So should you be moving to the cloud? Well, you probably already are, but the clamour from the industry, because they focus on the most interesting and innovative parts of the cloud, suggests that you should be. But as we all know, it's not quite as simple as that. The other role for your MSP is to examine specific tactics to produce a plan for migration. So your MSP should have a mechanism to evaluate your business-driven services to identify those which will benefit to move to the cloud earlier and those which may remain on an existing platform. So typically in organisations, the business-driven services where you create your value and transfer it to your external stakeholders are the ones that can benefit from the innovation provided by cloud. And those are the ones being converted now in programs such as digital transformation occurring across many organisations. Importantly though, stable services, they may be uneconomic currently to move to the cloud. Containerisation costs money and also introduces risk. So it may not be a good strategy to move on this generation of those services. So in short, on a micro level, your MSP needs to have a way of evaluating your business services for maturity and opportunity to move to the cloud. It needs also the capability to deliver a multiple set of services, and it needs to be agnostic. In order to deliver your best set of tactics, whether that's traditional IT, data center based services, or indeed cloud-based services, either private cloud or cloud wholesale services, your MSP needs to be agnostic to provide the best advice. It also needs to have the commercial flexibility to enable you to move within traditional contractual arrangements or to pay-as-you-go arrangements for whatever sourcing mechanism you choose. So your MSP should be helping you with your micro tactics, forming your strategy, as well as guiding you through this unprecedented technology change.